Okay, so let's start with dune bashing.
Well, so those SUVs picked us up at the hotel, and then we just drove out to the desert.
So you actually, when you say you paid to go dune bashing, like you paid drivers to pick you up. Like, that's what they do.
And it was part of this whole package deal. But yeah, that's what those guys do. It's like a dream job. It would be sweet.
Yeah.
Because I would never like be a passenger in a dune bashing ride again, but like if I could drive, that'd be another thing. That's fucking awesome.
Huh.
And they're good. They're like stunt drivers. Like how they don't flip these things, I don't know. So you get out to the desert and they deflate the tires a little bit, so that helps.
Okay.
And then like I didn't even know it was starting, so we're just like going down a desert road, and then suddenly like we veer off the road and go straight down this like dune cliff. It's crazy. And I was sitting in the far back seat, so
there's like 8 of you or 10 of you or something like that.
In that car there were like 6, but we were a convoy of like 6 other Land Rovers. I think that's what they were.
So what's like the closest to death that you came? I mean, what was like the scariest moment?
Well, it would be like you'd be going down this dune and then you just start like sliding and it would feel like you're about to flip, but you don't for whatever reason. Yeah. And then I'm sitting in the back seat with James King and he's like, "Oh man, I hope this flips. This is gonna be so awesome." Like he needs to grow up a little bit. Like I don't want this thing to flip. And our heads are gonna hit the ceiling and like we're gonna have concussions. Like no, that would suck.
Yeah.
That's the other shit that was there. There was a belly dancer. She danced one song and then like everybody else started to belly dance with her. And then hookah, shisha.
Shisha.
Yeah, more shisha. They don't call it hookah over there, but it is like hookah, and it's flavored tobacco.
Yeah.
And it's like hash tobacco.
Okay.
So it's like this cube, and you get it really hot, and it becomes itself like a hot coal, and you smoke that hot coal.
That was the end of the night?
Yeah. Essentially, it was like this Bedouin. They had tons of lights on. It was really bright, and then like for the last half hour, they shut all the lights off. So I was at a hookah at that point. I mean, not a hookah. I was smoking shisha at that point, and you could look up at the sky and like just see stars suddenly. You know, tons of them. It was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
And at one point, I ran up this huge dune and fell asleep. And it was cool. Like I was so alone and it was so like solitary. My buddy Blair, he went walking like. He says he walked out like half a mile, but I doubt it because that would have been really scary. But he says he walked far enough to where it was like completely pitch black. He couldn't see anywhere in front of him and he couldn't hear anything. It sounds awesome. Wow. Like that's such a hard thing to accomplish in a lot of places. This idea that you're totally alone. And like landmines, I would have been scared of landmines.
Were you warned about landmines?
Scorpions and fucking camel spiders. I don't remember what the name of the mountain was.
Okay.
But it was right on the border of Oman. And it was in this city called El Amin. And we just saw like this huge mountain with like, you know, a snaking road that went up to the top of it. So we thought we'd drive up as far as we could. We figured with like there'd be a security checkpoint.
Right.
And I was thinking it would be like a military base maybe, because it's a really high peak overlooking, you know, the entire desert. So it'd be a good like place for a base, or I don't know.
Is that Abu Dhabi in the background?
Yeah, either Abu Dhabi or Oman, depending on where I was standing.
Okay.
So we were literally right on the border. There was a fence. It was weird.
Was that the last day? That same trip?
Yeah. It wasn't the same trip as when we were dune bashing.
Okay.
Me and James King and Blair Stewart, we rented a car and we drove out there.
So what's the city like itself?
A lot of buildings, a lot of empty buildings, and then there are a lot of buildings that like are just super saturated with poor people.
Stuff being torn down already?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like there's no room for old things there. It's called the 49er.
Yeah.
And it was in the penthouse of this hotel. So you go into the lobby, walk into an elevator. I rode up the elevator with like these sleazy businessmen, and it's like old saloon kind of style. And there was like a Vietnamese cover band who did the AC/DC songs and Guns N' Roses. funny that happened was that James and I would be getting hit on a lot by the prostitutes. Like, I couldn't walk to the bar without, like, 3 of them approaching me saying I have nice hair or whatever. Like, I give good head. And James and I were, like, talking about this, and then Blair was like, nobody's approached me yet. And so, it was pretty embarrassing.
Poor Blair.
Yeah, he couldn't even get, like, a prostitute to approach him at a bar.
And I suppose we should mention why you went, because all of this is just a small portion of the trip.
Yeah, I went to Abu Dhabi to be the projectionist at the Middle East International Film Festival. And I was specifically running the Emirates Palace, so like the big theater with all like the premieres and closing nights.
There were a bunch of celebrities at the festival that they flew in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like who?
Meg Ryan, Antonio Banderas, Ben Kingsley. I think I saw Sofia Coppola. I'm not sure though.
Oh, really? That
was cool. Yeah.
Did she have a movie there?
No.
Okay. Just there, if she was there.
Yeah. Adrian Brody. There's more too. I just can't think of anybody.
Yeah. Are you going to do it again?
I'm going to do it again if I'm invited back. And that's all kind of dependent on if Hans Bergschmidt's going to work it again next year. I mean, I might be invited back even if he's not, but if he is, he's told me so much that...
And maybe he can get you work with other festivals too, right? Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right. He's a great contact.
And I think we're out right now.